I called my dad. I like, it's either you or me going to jail. You better get your freaking ass up here.
Thank you guys for watching another episode of Daddy Issues. Our guest today is going to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about his story.
My name's Devin. I am from the Kentucky tri-state area, and a little bit about my story. I got a 2-year-old. I'm 22, so I was 19, 20 when I had him, and
Wow.
It's been pretty rough. The case is out of Indiana, so I got to go cross state lines, but uh, we were together from when she was pregnant all the way to about 6 months, and uh, I didn't get to see my boy for the first 8 months.
Oh, wow.
The Indiana courts ain't too nice or whatever. I filed the first day. I found out he was born. He was born the 24th.
So
I
she didn't
filed
even
him.
tell you he was born.
No, her best friend did actually.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, her best friend's the one who actually told me, because I used to do excavation and I wake up at 4, and on the 25th I got a text message at like 1 in the morning saying, "Just let you know your son was born."
Oh,
Like, thanks.
wow.
And I filed, and pretty sure it's everywhere, but courts took their sweet time. Went to court like within 2 months, and then they continued it, and they said I didn't have no rights or whatever after the DNA test and everything came back.
And it came back obviously yours, and they said you have no rights?
Yeah, because the judge didn't give me any rights at that time.
Wow.
That's how it works for Indiana, I guess. Kentucky's a Commonwealth state, so it's 50-50 automatically.
Oh, nice. But you guys are in Indiana, so you can't switch it to Kentucky, or is she living in Kentucky now, so you change it over?
Technically, he resides in Indiana, but she's been all over. She ain't really in his life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Uh, I'll explain it farther down the road, but really, she's been in Texas, Ohio, uh, way down in Indiana, about 4 or 5 hours away.
Jeez.
Yeah, she's been a little bit everywhere. He's raised by his grandmother right now.
Dude, that doesn't even make sense. Like, why wouldn't she just be like, go be with your dad? You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
Child support.
Wow.
Yeah. She also has another child. I text her dad. She has a daughter too,
Yeah.
because her dad's trying to start the ball and everything, and we were texting, and I found out she was living in Texas not too long ago, and I texted him, and he sent me everything, and we ended up going to court over it, and the judges really didn't believe me, saying I was just being childish. If I just
Wow.
waited till he was 3 or whatever, I'd get more time with him. But yeah, then now he's telling me she's living somewhere in Ohio. Not for sure where.
And she's bringing the child with her, or the child's still with the grandmother or her
The
mother?
child's still with the grandmother.
That is wild.
Yeah, then it's not the best. There's been quite a few cop calls. The grandparents are, from what my understanding is, they dabbled into things they shouldn't have. The grandfather has quite a bit of a destructive record, violence wise. There's been quite a few cop calls because they'd refuse to give me my son and everything. Cops won't really help because it's a civil matter. It took me about 8 months to finally start to get to see him. And when I first started getting to see him, it was about an hour 15-minute drive from where I live to where he lives. And they'd only give them to me for 3 hours each visit. In the middle of summer and winter, I ain't had nowhere to go, so I'd have to drive the hour 15 there, then drive the hour 15, come back. I'd eat dinner with him, give him a bath, play with toys with him for a few minutes, and I'd take him back home.
Right, because of that hour and 15. Yeah. That's crazy. Oh, my God.
I did that for about a year, and then, yeah, it cost me a lot of debt because I was doing that 3, 4 times a week, and I was spending about 2, 3 grand a month in gas to go see him.
Yeah, I mean, the one good thing out of that, though, is like at least you're able to bond with your son, and at least he's able to see you and know that you're his dad. So
Yeah. Now I get every other weekend. I was supposed to get a day through the week, but when we're in mediation, they're like, the grandmother, because my baby's mom obviously don't participate in pickup or drop off. I ain't seen her since Halloween of last year.
But do they know that she's just not around and the grandparents are raising the son?
I try to bring it up to the court's attention. They don't care. They said I was just being childish when I tried to bring it up to the court's attention. But yeah, he lives with the grandmother and grandfather. And from my understanding, she's over in Cincinnati. What I used to do when I used to go up there all the time, I actually made friends with a bunch of their neighbors.
There you go.
And I want to get him to 5. I work from 2:30 to 3 when I first started getting him because I liked overtime. So I'd go into work at 2:30 in the morning, leave at 3. And instead of coming back home, then having to leave straight away, to save gas, I just leave from work, go straight there and hang out at the neighbor's house for an hour, which is pretty nice. I still
Yeah.
talk to all the neighbors. I ain't been up there in a minute, but yeah, the grandfather likes to come out and like to start yelling at everybody. There's been a couple times where it's been a big thing for the police. One time the police got caught because I just had surgery and I wasn't really allowed to lift anything, but I drove and my cousin went to pick up the baby, and the grandfather was outside and he started saying things to me. He started saying things to my cousin and everything, and I just, like, please shut the hell up. He started saying some other things, and he got around to saying that I'm gonna just abbreviate this. I don't know if it's allowed on your
Oh,
podcast,
you're
but
good.
he said I like RAPD'd my boy.
No way.
My dad's a pretty small man compared to me. I'm 6'3", 350 pounds.
Yeah.
My dad's like a solid 5'8", 120, and I just had surgery or whatever. And I he said that, and I started screaming, and I called my
I would have hit him.
I called my dad. I like it's either you or me going to jail. You better get your freaking ass up here.
Yeah.
Eh, my dad calmed me down for a minute, and then next time I went, my dad actually ended up going, and the whole family's weird. Like
Yeah.
they have my baby moms have 2 sisters. I think one older, and I know one for sure younger. I ain't got a problem with the younger one. The younger one, she's like probably the most normal one out of that family. I feel bad for her because they drag her to every pickup and drop off,
Yeah.
and she hates it. But finally, after all that got situated, about the whole that, and that didn't work for them. They ended up putting a protective order against me to try to get me to stop seeing my son. And the protective order was because I was stalking. Because obviously I live so far away.
Right.
I'd get there so early and hang out across the street.
Yeah.
They said I was stalking because of that.
And did that get put through? Was that like approved?
The protection order ended up it was put through at the time, but I was still allowed to see my son.
Oh, okay.
And they were using it to try to not let me see my son because
Yeah.
I got to deliver the day I was supposed to see him. And I called the sheriff's like, so does this mean I can't see my son? They're like, does it say that on there? Like, well, no. They're like, well, then you can go see him. So they ended up shooting themselves in the foot because I ended up having my niece come with me, and I parked across the street, and she walked over there, grabbed him. Then my lawyer said, how'd you get your boy? And I was like, I parked across the street. She said, no, don't go back on that street. I'm like, oh, okay. I understand. So during drop off, called my brother. I was like, hey, you just want to ride with me? I don't know how this is going to go because I'm not allowed on their street, and they're going to have to come meet me. So I called them. They're like, where are you? I was like, I'm not allowed on your street. They said, just go across the street like you did last time. I was like, I was strongly advised by my lawyer not to go across the street or on your street anymore.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, what do you want us to do about it? Like, I guess you're going to have to come meet me. I was like, I'm 10 minutes from your house. I'm down at the gas station. And they ended up going off, and I ended up calling the non-emergency number, and they said, since this is a recorded line and they're giving you permission, it's no longer valid. You're allowed back on their street.
Oh, wow. Dude, such a waste of time. Oh, dude, just what you're going through is just like so painful. Just all the bullshit.
It is.
Oh.
That's probably about the biggest things that really happened in the beginning was me and the grandfather getting into arguments all the time, bashing heads. Then obviously what he was saying and all the lies and everything, saying, my boy's a baby of that, which he ain't. We're together 8-9 months. The pregnancy happened very early.
Yeah.
yeah, it's then finally we ended up going to court or whatever for a longer time, and nothing really happened in court. We had to end up going to mediation for some reason. The magistrate wouldn't listen to her case. She just wanted to get through mediation, and Jamie is the grandmother or whatever, and we were all in mediation, and it was really just me and the grandmother talking. My baby mom stormed out of the room because I asked for overnights,
Yeah.
and she said, "No, that's it. I ain't doing this no more." And they stormed out. And then me, her lawyer, and obviously the grandmother were all talking, and we started. She started saying like, we're just following the guidelines. This is what the guidelines want. And I ended up going off on her, yelling at her, saying, "How is it fair that I have to fight to see my kid? You're saying that I'm the one hurting Cohen when you're the one who's not letting him, see his father or whatever."
Right. And the crazy thing is the mother's not even there. It's the grandparents raising the kid.
She, the grandmother actually had to go out and talk to my baby mom about it and saying, I guess this is what we should do. The grandmother ended up crying about it after I got done with my little spiel of yelling and stuff.
Yeah.
And they came back in and was like, uh, you know, I guess I'm gonna let you change his last name because his last name wasn't mine; it was theirs.
And they were letting you do that.
They ended up letting me do that,
Wow.
and I had to obviously negotiate with them on
Yeah.
like payment and stuff, and I also lost out on a total of 4 hours because the grandmother said she works, so she won't be able to take him, so she'd have to cancel. I was like, just give me an extra 4 hours on the weekends
Yeah.
because I'm supposed to get him 48 hours, not pick him up 4 hours earlier.
Yeah, and
So
getting your child's for your child to have your last name is a big deal for men, for
yeah, it
sure.
is.
Yeah, so like that, good for you for that. But I can't believe they allowed that or they
Well,
agreed to that.
it's technically hyphenated, but
Yeah.
they don't know how hyphenations work. So she was pretty determined on having her last name first.
Yeah.
But
Perfect.
obviously, I was like, sure, go ahead. I mean, I would have been happy with my last name first, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted mine on there.
That's awesome.
But yeah, they don't really know how hyphenations work, so it's this livers now. It was just
Man.
what his original name was first.
And how old is your son now?
He's 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah, he's getting he's starting to notice things,
Yep.
if that makes sense. Like the most recent drop off, he he loves going to his nana's. She treats him good,
Yeah.
and obviously, if I ever get full custody, I'd never want to take that away. It takes two to make a baby. It's two different families, and made me happy a little because on Sundays he knows when we're fixing to leave because we get an early bath, and then he gets excited and kind of threw a fit because he wanted me to go with him to Nana's and stay at
Mm,
Nana's. And I
yeah.
told him I'm not allowed, and he threw a fit. And then whenever drop off actually came around, he wouldn't really want to go, and he said, "No, I want to stay here. I want to stay with
Dang.
Dad."
Yeah. It's tough too now that he's getting older and starting to realize things. And dude, hopefully down the road, your situation gets at least like better with you and the grandparents and like getting along with the kids because now he's going to start noticing the alienation that's going on and all the drama that's happening.
Yeah, which it's kind of starting because he's not he's not really stupid. I guess he he recognizes things.
Yeah, of course.
It's
Yeah.
amazing what they recognize. Because he he asked me when he asked me to go to Nana's, and like, "I'm not allowed, buddy. I'm sorry." He said "Yeah, the Gigi, which is what he calls his grandfather. I'm guessing that because there's Nana, and then he says Gigi. I'm pretty sure Gigi is the grandfather.
Yeah.
He says Gigi says the police will get you.
Who says that shit to a kid?
But yeah, that's what he was telling me the other day. I like, who told you that? He said Gigi.
That's crazy.
So he kind of understands what's happening. He just don't know what's happening. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And the best part about kids is when they're that young, they don't know how to lie. They don't know, they'll just say whatever was said to them or say whatever, and sometimes it'll help you out. If you have to talk to a mediator or talk to the police or something, and your kid's there, or they have to talk to a therapist, whatever it might be, they'll just kind of tell them what's happening, not realizing like, oh shit, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, my boy's pretty blunt. He tells me I got big boobs all the time.
Right.
He don't care.
You could be out in public and he'll start saying that shit like, God damn. Yeah.
Damn, boy, shut up. I guess for a little piece of advice from what I see, get the ball rolling as soon as possible, to be honest, because it takes forever for courts.
Yeah.
And it's ugly. And you will, unless you have a high paying job to start off with, even people with high paying jobs, you're going to go into debt. Like,
So
in all
expensive.
honesty, I'm probably $30,000-$40,000 in debt just from court.
Yeah.
Then
Damn.
they also tack on all that child support too. So
Yep.
you're paying for your lawyer. Reality, you're paying for theirs too, unless you got a decent baby mom or whatever to actually use your money to go towards the child. But I was leading somewhere with that. But yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, and especially at your age, I mean, to have a child, I mean, you're 22 now.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so to have a child at, 19, 20 years old, it's like, damn. And the crazy part is, I mean, good for you for sticking around. Maybe like a lot of 20-year-olds, if the mom just left and wasn't telling them anything, they would have just lived their life and been like, all right, whatever. Because they're so young.
yeah. But having a kid does make you turn your life down around
Mm-hmm.
180.
100%.
Obviously, I was young. I did my fair share of partying, and I found out he was mine on a Friday. I went to my buddy's house because that's where we usually had our little get-togethers. Our party was 7 people,
Yeah.
or just our normal friend group.
Yeah.
And after that day, I just like I can't do this no more. And it made one of them pretty mad. Everybody else kind of understood.
Yeah.
And I still talked to the one that made pretty mad. We ended up tying knots, and I had to explain to him what happened. And like, I can't do this no more. I got to start getting my life together.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped all the partying. Obviously, I still drank, not around him, but
Yeah.
I don't really go out. My definition of fun is sitting, trying to do something for free, and having
Yep.
a few people come over.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that happened to me. I had my kid when I was 22, and your life changes, your friend groups change, everything changes because, you can't go out and party and do that kind of stuff. You got to be there for your kids.
Yeah, especially I keep mine on like I guess pretty strict sleep schedule.
Yeah.
Uh, so a lot of people have things around like 2:30. That's right at his nap time. So a lot of times I get him, I can't really do anything unless they have it later.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been quite a few birthday parties and stuff I missed because obviously I want him to be good and actually follow his sleep schedule and everything.
Yeah.
So he don't, all ends of the night. Like, he does pretty good. He's in bed by 9:30, and he'll tell you that he's tired.
Yeah.
He'll go straight to bed. That's pretty nice.
Now, are you obviously trying to still get 50-50, but do you see it happening down the road anytime soon? Or, like, are you guys still on good talking terms, or how's that going?
I spoke to his mother on, we use a court-ordered app
Yeah.
or whatever. It's called Our Family Wizard. And the first few messages I sent, I knew I was talking to his mother because how defensive she got and everything. Then about a week later, I realized I was talking to the grandmother
Yeah.
because when his mother refers to him as her son and the grandmother referred to it as our son,
Yeah.
so there's just little things you can tell the difference of on who's texting.
Mm-hmm.
And she has not been defensive at all. And when I asked if they can like change times to make it easier for us, for example, my birthday's on a Thursday this year. I get him that weekend. Oh, I told him like I'm willing to get him later if you just let me have him all night instead of 9 o'clock. Can I just pick him up at 4 and keep him till Sunday at the normal time?
Right.
Then they said yeah, and then
That's
his
awesome.
birthday falls on a Thursday this year, and I don't get him
Yeah.
that weekend. I want his birthday to stay the same.
Yeah.
She's like, can you drop him off at 8? I'm like, no, I got plans with him.
Yeah.
I plan on taking him to the aquarium or the zoo because he loves animals and loves fish. So I can possibly drop him off at 8:30. I just don't know when the zoo or the aquarium's gonna get over with. Like I just don't want to rush.
Yeah, and it makes life so much easier when you guys can get along like that and change times and do whatever. It's unreal the change that it will make.
Yeah. Uh, she was kind of mad that I want to drop him off an hour earlier. Like I just don't know when I'm gonna get done. I don't want to say yeah I can drop him off at 8 and we're still at the zoo at 7:30.
Right. Yeah.
But uh, that's what I was want to say about the parent and annihilation or whatever.
Yeah, alienation, yeah.
Yeah, he asked me a bunch of questions. I try to keep it simple for him. I just tell him, when you get bigger, when you get older, or whatever. Right now, when he asks about his nana or whatever, I just tell him that I don't know her. That's why I can't come. I don't know her.
Yeah.
And then he also asks the questions like, "Why can't I stay with you? Why don't I see you and stuff?" I tell him, "I'll tell you when you're older, buddy."
Yeah, it's so hard. Man, I was going through that same thing with the parents of my ex as well, and it was so frustrating. As much as I wanted to tell my kids like fuck these people, you just got to be like, nope, it is what it is.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with him when I do tell him. I'm gonna wait till I feel like he's mature enough.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell him when he's in like the 5th grade. Maybe sophomore, junior in high school. I'll tell him.
Mhm. Yeah, cuz then
But
he'll actually be able to understand kind of,
yeah,
everything.
I'll just wait till I feel like he's mature. And
Yeah.
obviously, this ain't just all on her. Obviously, I've made mistakes.
Mhm.
Uh, obviously, in the beginning, we were both calling each other's nasty names. It just ain't. She ain't 100% the bad guy. I've definitely
Yeah.
called her and her family some names. Obviously, I said some things to the grandpa I probably shouldn't have.
Yeah,
And
well with the claim that he made, I wouldn't be apologizing to him. But I hear
yeah,
you.
he uh he wasn't too happy when so my biggest thing was something I had on her. He wasn't too happy when I brought it up. He My baby mama ended up doing things with her brother. That's why we ultimately broke up.
Mm.
And I kind of aired that out to him because I had videos and text messages of her admitting to it or whatever.
Jesus.
And uh, yeah, that's when he got up onto my truck and everything, and he wasn't too happy about it.
Yeah. I bet.
But right now, I'm hoping to get full custody, if not 50-50, because I know she's not in his life.
Right.
The only person he refers to as mother, like mama, is my fiance.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, you you ask him where does everybody live, and you ask him, where does mama live, and he goes at mommy's house. Then you ask him where does he live, he calls it Nana's house.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, man. I hope you get full custody, especially if the mom's not in the life. And I'm just surprised that I'm not surprised that the courts take forever, but it just sucks. And it sucks that they don't see what's happening, even though you show them, proof of like text messages and all that stuff. So that must be hard.
And if you do go to court, uh, definitely bring witnesses if you can,
Yeah.
because I didn't bring any, and it was even though I had paper evidence, he just kind of was like, you know, because I had an address in Texas associated with her name, date of birth, and social,
Yeah.
and I was like, these are all her other addresses associated with that name. There's also a Texas address on here because it was a public record,
Yeah.
and they're like, she's like, I never seen that address before. And the judge was like, well, it must not be her because she's never seen that address.
Unbelievable.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, man, that's fine.
And what sucks too, like with witnesses and things, because you only have so much time in court. So even when you bring witnesses, it's like you got to be sure that they're going to say the things that you want them to say and not you know what I mean, because
Yeah,
you only have so much time. So if they're kind of ranting about something else or something that maybe not isn't as important as like what you need to tell, it could be a waste of time. So
like I didn't know I was supposed to bring witnesses because
yeah.
the neighbor, who's a retired chief of police,
Oh, perfect.
and he actually wrote a letter to the judge and everything, stating that he ain't seen my child's mother, and he's seen him once in like maybe 6, 7 months, and she was in a truck with Texas plates.
Dude, I mean, that couldn't be more of a guy to have saying that. That's great.
And I didn't know I was supposed to bring him because all the other court cases, they wouldn't let us have anybody take the stand or nothing.
Right.
So I was like, just letters should work. And he wrote a letter. He signed it with a name number. The judge wouldn't accept it into evidence. I was like, oh, okay.
My God.
But everything else I had was her stating that she's like stuck in Texas and everything. And she's like, that's not me. I think it's literally your name and number. And the judge was like, well, she's saying it's not her, so it can't be her.
Dude, I would be so pissed. Oh,
I was like,
God.
So I drove an hour and a half for this. Really?
Right.
Is this how this is going to go?
That's crazy.
I'm hoping I can get it switched to Kentucky. Eventually. Because like I said, Kentucky's a lot better state when it comes to it.
Yeah.
Because both parents automatically get 50-50.
Now, are you – because you're the one who filed, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't file it in Kentucky? You filed it there where she lives?
Well, where the child resides, that's where it has to be.
Gotcha.
So if I ended up taking him in for whatever reason, the case will now be in Kentucky.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why it works like that because I hired a lawyer at first and everything was getting ready to get going. She was fixing a pop, and then he texted me like, hey, man, I'm just now realizing this. I guess I didn't catch her. You didn't tell me. He said, she's in Indiana. I was like, yeah. He's like, we got to file in Indiana because this can get dismissed really fast.
Mm.
It has to be where the child resides.
Yeah. And right, I forgot that you guys were having issues before he was born, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, just try to file it as soon as possible. You're going to go into a bunch of debt, like I said before. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Being a dad's fun. Son, boy, you can show him to anyone you want to be. I know my boy loves fishing. I take him fishing ever since I took him the first time he liked it. I take him once every weekend.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, being a dad it literally changes your life. Like as soon as that, I know you weren't there for the birth, which sucks because you don't get that moment back. But yeah, as soon as you know you have a kid, man, it changes you, and it's the best feeling ever.
It is. I wouldn't change it for nothing.
Yeah.
I love him. I'd do anything for him. Like I said, if I get more evidence or something happens, I'll be there. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, go more dead, I can make the money back.
Right. But that's what sucks is like, you find more stuff. It's like, oh, cool. Let's file another court case and let me pay my attorney another $4,000 to figure this out. And it's just endless.
Yeah, that's also another big thing. I went to the last court date without a lawyer, and she also didn't have her lawyer. If you go to court, get a lawyer.
Yeah.
No matter how much it costs, get a lawyer. You're going to lose if you ain't got a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since courts are mainly so gun-ho on the mom.
Yeah. Yep.
Cause I know they got mad at me for working 2 jobs because I was having a hard time paying my child support in the beginning. I obviously spend $2-3 a month in gas.
Right.
I was having a very hard time paying my child support. I pay them $10-15 a month. Obviously, I'll spend a lot of that money going back and forth to get my boy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll pick up a second job.
But that's what they don't understand is they don't evaluate, oh, you got to drive an hour and a half or hour and 15 minutes there and back every time. Actually, there and back and then drop them back off and then come back.
Yeah.
So they don't even factor that stuff in.
I didn't get home till 9:30 on when I dropped him off. So it'd be from work. It was like maybe 30 minutes. I'd leave from work, go there, drive anywhere between an hour 15 minutes back, eat, drive another hour 15 minutes to drop him off, then drive an hour 15 minutes back. But when I did get that second job, the courts weren't really too happy with me because I thought it was only based off of one income. Now they tried to child support me on my second job and everything too.
Dude, we were talking about that, and it gives you no incentive to go work harder and get another job because of that reason right there. Why am I going to work more when you're just going to take more from me? and what am I left with?
That's what cause we owe the courts money or whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't know I owed them money. I owed them. Look, I thought I owed them a lot more than what I did. I owed them like $200. So
Oh, okay.
I started.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot more. I called them. I was like, so how you really want me to pay this? And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, I can't get another job unless you guys are just not going to child support it. And she said it's ultimately up to the judge. She said if you owe the courts money, he probably ain't going to put that into child support if you tell him it's temporarily. So when I first did get the second job, when I was trying to catch up on child support and everything, they said they're going to charge me almost $1,000 a month since I was working two jobs.
They
I
were
was
going to
like,
charge you another $1,000 a month.
no, they're just going to charge me $1,000 a
Oh,
month
oh,
total.
oh, oh.
$400
Jesus.
extra.
Yeah.
I pay 600 right now
Yeah. Okay.
for one. And
That's
yeah, they're like,
crazy.
I was like, you guys might as well not even charge it. I'm quitting today.
Right.
They're like, what do you mean? I'm not doing it.
Right. It doesn't make sense to do it. I mean, that's insane.
Then
Wow.
they brought up my overtime that I worked because in the beginning at my job I could come in at 2:30, leave at 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I'd be working 12 Monday through Thursday, then work like 5 6 hours Friday. And they're like, well, overtime that also gets charged. I was like, it's not guaranteed. Like right now,
True. Yeah.
we're having a hard time trying to get us 40 hours. A lot of time I'm just standing around at work. Layoffs are coming around at my job right now, which and I tried to tell them that, and they wouldn't listen until I got a written letter from my supervisor, manager, and like somebody from HR saying, "Yeah, we're slowing down. It's not guaranteed."
It's so crazy the extra hoops you have to jump through as a dad, going to court and all that bullshit. It's on top of everything else that you're doing, you have to deal with like the little dumb shit like that.
And another big piece of advice is if you can get help somebody out that will pay you, like even if it's helping your buddy, if you own the moving truck, helping your buddy move and he paid you a little bit, freaking do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Get paid in cash and don't worry about reporting
You
it.
you, you gotta hustle if you really want to stay above.
Yeah.
Because I don't make a lot of money, and $600 is like roughly a quarter of my check. Then that's not
Yeah.
including my 401k and everything. And yeah, I try to get little side hustles every now and then, or see who needs help. See if I can make like an extra 50 100 bucks on the weekends when I ain't got him.
Yep. Yep. That's a hell of a story, man. And I hope that it gets better for you. I hope one day she takes you off child support or you get full custody. I mean, that would be great, especially if she's not there with the kid. It will only make sense. But I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, man.
I appreciate you having me.